We are on the third and final installment of You Got This Sweater. I am so excited to be here. My name is Dawn Schaefer. I am the owner of LazyOSheepRanch.com, and this is a free pattern for you. There are 2 other video installments that I will definitely put a link for you so you can find them easily. So we are at the raglan sleeve point. So all your stitches should have been placed on your circular needle. The first row that you will do is knit plain all the way around. And let me show you how I kind of rigged up the stitch markers so I could understand exactly where I was at any certain point. This is my starting row, beginning of my row, and I put on 2 stitch markers so I knew that that is where I began. And then I put stitch markers all the way around the rest of it. They may fall off just because these needles are a size 11 and they don't clip on very well. So let us start off with the raglan row. Now in the directions that I've given you, do this raglan row. Let me finish the last stitch of that row, the previous row. So with this raglan row, you will knit 1, then you will slip, slip, knit 2 together, and then knit to 3 stitches before the marker. Here you've knit 3 stitches before the next marker, and I will knit these 2 together. Then I'll knit 1, slip the marker over, knit 1, then slip, slip, knit these 2 together, and then knit to 3 stitches before the next marker. So with 3 stitches before this next marker, knit these 2 together, knit 1, slip the marker over, knit 1, and slip, slip, knit 2 together. And then you do keep going till you reach your beginning of the row with these 2 markers, however you choose to mark them. We are at the end of our first row and we have 3 left, so you would knit these 2 together, knit 1, then pass the marker over, and this next row we would knit plain all the way around. Okay, we made it back to the beginning of the raglan sleeve. And yes, I do lose my markers quite a bit. Now what I'll do, since I did a decrease here, I'm just marking it. So I have 5 decreases and I need to do 4 more for a total of 9 decreases, 9 decrease rows, I should say. Now there are some patterns where they will actually have you do the decrease right at the first 2, where I skip 1 and I do it the second 2, because I noticed that with the bulky weight yarn, here's the first sweater that I did for my son. At least for the bulky weight yarn, this is what happened when I did the first 2. There wasn't a stitch to kind of be a buffer in between this gap. So I really didn't care for the gap. for it being here. My son did not even bat an eyelash. He just liked his sweater. But if you like this look, then take away the first knit stitch and just do slip, slip, knit right after the marker and before the marker. So then you'll get this gap. But here, I didn't do that. So as you can see, there's really no gap in between, a large one in between them, because of the first knit stitch that I would do before the slip, slip, knit. I made a little mistake. We have a total of 11 decreases on here and not 9. So the last row I did, I just landed on a knit plain across. And so this is what I consider the front. This is where I began my row. And so this is the front, this is the back. Each sleeve between the markers, knit stitch markers, are 7 stitches, and the front and the back are 13 stitches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit plain to the back. We are at the next shaping portion, and let's hop to it. So I found the middle, which is kind of, you know, close to the middle as possible. So I have 6 stitches over here and 7 stitches over here. It was hard to find just because it was an odd number. So what we're going to do is knit 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th stitch, we are going to wrap and turn. So bring your yarn forward, pass this next stitch over, and bring your yarn back. And that basically is a wrap. Now that stitch that you just passed over and wrapped, just slip it to the right needle and then knit. I'm videoing.
Oh, I was going to hang.
Can you wait? Can I tell you when? Okay, thank you. Okay, purl. To 4 stitches. Slip the marker over, purl 4, 3, 4, and we are going to wrap the 5th stitch. Take your needle your yarn to the back, and make like you're going to purl again. Bring the yarn to the front, and then turn. There's another wrap. There's a wrap stitch, so slip this stitch to the right and knit. Knit. Knit past the slip stitch marker to the wrap stitch. You knit the wrap stitch, and then we are going to knit 4 stitches out, and you can just tell the difference. There's a gap, small gap. So knit 4 stitches and wrap the 5th. So bring the yarn to the front, slip the stitch over, bring the yarn to the back, and wrap. Okay, this wrap stitch, you slip it to the right needle, and then purl to the end, we have the last wrap stitch that you made. Purl the wrap stitch, and then purl for 1, 2, 3, 4. Wrap the 5th stitch, so keep the yarn in the back. We're going to slip the stitch over and then wrap it. And now knit all the way around till you get to your beginning of the row stitch marker. So you would knit all the way to here. We made it to the beginning of the row, and now we're going to start the neck ribbing. Knit 1, purl 1. And you do it all the way around, and 6 rows. And do this ribbing for 6 rows. So that concludes our 3-part series to making your own sweater. If you want to adjust the stitch count, you can make it bigger or smaller, but the premise is the same. It just comes down to doing the math and how your chosen yarn actually will work. So here it is, and enjoy your journey. If you have any questions, please ask me. I would love to clarify anything that you may have, so I can definitely make sure that you can get your sweater finished and do it from the beginning to the end. And yes, there might be some hiccups, but I am definitely here to help you out. So you guys have an amazing journey in making your own sweater, and I will see you in the next video.